His delight shall be in the fear of the Lord. That this king will not fear man, but fears God. Right? There's an awe in a sense. Because the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. And so he is wise, and the fear of the Lord, you see, this is the kind of ruler we actually aspire to see. That this kind of king will not bow down to any other man, but only to God. That this king is wise because he fears God. That it's not about what men will say, it's about important things, what God says. And you know, we live in a culture today that is enamored with self. You know, and even leaders, unfortunately, every move becomes a political calculation about themselves. And it's painful to see people who, you know, it's like leaders today who will put their letters or names, right, on basketball courts, on waiting sheds, or on, what else, street lamps, right? And it's not even their own money, right? And so just all these different things that we see today. But this king, the Bible says, doesn't fear man. Is not enamored by himself. In fact, he honors God. Okay, this is the kind of leader we want to see. And then the Bible says, he shall not judge by what his eyes see, or decide disputes by what his ears hear. Because appearances can be deceiving. And words can actually be persuasive. Have you ever been in a conversation where, you know, there's an argument between two people, and you talk to this person and says, oh, because she did that, and she sounded really persuasive until you talk to the other person. Okay, the Bible says in Proverbs, okay, one side sounds good until you hear the other person. All right, and so, but this king, this leader, he doesn't decide according to what his eyes see or by the disputes his ears hear, but based on righteousness. Based on righteousness. He is a just God. He is a just king. He is a righteous king. Not based on what man will say. I'm reading a book now by, I was reading a book by Edward Welch. He was talking about the fear of man. And he was talking about sometimes we adjust words and our lifestyle and the way we behave because we have this fear of man. And I think all of us here fall into that trap. And here's what he said. He said, the fear of man wields awesome power. The praise of others, that wisp of a breeze that lasts for a moment. We can seem more glorious to us than the praise of God. We are more concerned about looking stupid, fear of people, than we are about acting sinfully. The fear of the Lord.